Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2023. So, I've been a little bit distracted. It's been a crazy holiday November, Thanksgiving, December, Christmas, and New Year's. It's been a little bit distracted. I did do 2 cups. I did one on Zelenskyy, and there wasn't much in it, and I was kind of distracted about it. So, it's so strange. I gotta explain to you. So, if you're learning to read the cup and after you watch my videos, you're there trying to read your cups, I'll tell you, if you can't understand it, that's perfectly normal. I did one and I was so distracted. I think it's equivalent to, when you're reading a book, like say you love reading, and most of the time, 95% of the time, you're able to breeze through a book, read it, understand everything, remember everything afterwards. And then there are times where you keep reading the same page over and over, and your mind is just not there. You're just distracted, and you go back and read it. And then that happens with the Taza as well. So it was that situation. So I did this one. Not much came out. So I thought, right? And so then I do another one for Zelenskyy. And yeah, I got a good reading. But I had a notebook that I got for my readings. I had never used it because I never needed it. But I don't know, I've had brain fog. So I did sort of jot down what I saw in the tazas as I went along. So I kind of had to do that. So just sharing with you, if you're trying to learn to read it, this happens. Read what you can. Let your attention go to whatever portion of it you can. Write it down. If then you get distracted again, leave it. Go do your thing. Go live your life. Come back. Write the next part. And like that until then it becomes an entire picture, right? So yeah, that's kind of what happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first Zelenskyy Taza. Then I'm going to do some New Year predictions. Take a break, do New Year's predictions, and then I'm going to do the second Zelenskyy Taza. So I marked it with ribbons. I got a brown ribbon. I love that color. And then I got a little light blue ribbon here on it. And I jotted them down. That's how crazy distracted it's been. The holidays sometimes do that to you. Cooking and cleaning and caring and accepting people and the animals and work and the vacation and then having to go do this during vacation and then come back and work full time. So it gets kind of a little distracting. So be kind to yourself. Give yourself a break, Do you, as they say. Do what you can. And do it right. That's the thing. If you just have a schedule and you're not going to do it right, it's not worth it. Do it when your soul and your spirit and your energy is on point. And if you have 5 minutes of it being on point and then you get tired and you stop and then you come back. So, yeah. So let's do that now. Let's do that first brown cup. Okay, so here you have the handle. Whatever is happening closest to the handle will be happening the soonest. And here I see a message. A message going to him. This is Zelenskyy. I think this is a message coming from the allies, maybe the UK or the United States, one of the allies telling him, now I did this cup last week, so this might have already happened, but telling him that, see this big structure here? That people have to go underground. They have to go underground because there will be missiles or torpedoes, whatever, landing above ground. So I think that's the attacks in Kyiv are going to ramp up. The city's going to be attacked day and night with torpedoes, missiles. I know torpedoes isn't that underwater? I don't know why I think torpedoes. I think there might be something underwater as well. But but I also think missiles, right? So in the city, missiles, drones, that sort of thing. So the intelligence is to him. He has his head down. He's worried. He's communicating to everyone in this very large place that they have to go underground. Do you see that? You see all these people like in one level, second level, like that in underground here, all over the city. So, more train stations being populated by people finding refuge. Also, the military, Zelenskyy himself, his team. Oops, sorry, I'm sorry. They will all have to be going underground. It's everywhere in the Ukraine here, probably the big cities. Everyone is going underground. And then after that happens, we're going to have people resurfacing and meeting up children. I think they might especially put the children in bunkers. And then after all this is done, the children are going to come up and reunite with their parents, with their mothers and their fathers, and hug each other. Messages are going to be sent out like it's okay, safe. Like not every family's going to be together. It's going to be such a sudden. He's going to know, he's going to program it, but a lot of people are going to probably wait till like the last minute because they're used to living above ground. But eventually, wherever they are, people are going to house each other, and so mothers might be working away from their homes and fathers might be working away from their homes when this happens, so the kids are going to have to be taken down, and then be taken down into the shelters without the parents, and then after all it's done they're going to be reuniting. You see that? You see that there? You see this adult-like person reuniting with this kid here, hugging. Like there's going to be messages sent to them. That's what that looks like to me. Then, this here took me a while to figure out what the heck is all this? Like I couldn't figure out. It's basically men and women, military men and women, both sexes, wearing coats. So this is during winter. Wearing coats and military gear, scarves. Now, after I tell you, it's pretty obvious, right? But when you're reading it, it takes me a while to figure out what it is. But yeah, so it's military people wearing coats and scarves, thick stuff. They look heavier than they are because they're in military gear. And they're wearing thick coats because it's very cold there. So these three people are like on the same team. They're discussing a message down here. Here is what I believe to be a mediator. Someone who's a mediator. So in the Taza 3 could mean many. It's not going to show you, not always, it may, but it's not always going to show you if there's 20 people, it's going to paint 20 people. It might just paint 3, like it's multiple. It's not just 2, it's multiple people, several. So here are military men and women with some sort of documents, messages, some sort of negotiations here. And there's a person in the middle, like the middleman. And here are 3 other with some other sort of negotiations. And they're looking down, 3 other military people from another, probably from, this could be Ukrainians and this could be the Russians and this could be the person in the middle situation. And all of them want this to be over, but it's almost as if these people are powerless. I cannot tell. It's ambivalent. I cannot tell if they come to an agreement. It doesn't look like it to me. It doesn't look like it to me right away. But I cannot tell. It's like they want to, but somehow the Russians, the diplomats, the ones that are being sent to try to find an accord, they want to. They want to end it, but they can't. Do you see their heads down? Do you see that? And then the middle person is turning maybe towards the Ukrainians and telling them, and they're like, they're more confident in what they want. These guys are a little less confident in what they want, but it doesn't seem to me like they come to an immediate agreement. Unfortunately. Doesn't mean that later on it won't happen, but in this particular Taza, no. I don't think so. I cannot tell. It's more ambivalent, but I'm going to say, I mean, you can see for yourselves. Heads down, facing each other. They're not all together agreeing. And the guy in the middle is left. You can see the body language. Really sad. He's just left like hanging out to dry. And you see all the little papers and documents and all that went into it, and all the papers and messages at the bottom. These guys have worked so much. They have had more papers than these guys. It's like these guys are cut off, like they can't. Do you see the papers here? And then here is like cut off, the message right there. And at the bottom of the cup, I see a lot of things with the earth there as well. You know, let's not forget nature. With all these politicking going on and all these wars, nature is still struggling. There's water and earth. And I will cover that in the next cup. Let me take a break in between and do my 2023 predictions. Stay tuned. Okay, so again, I had to write everything down. Unbelievable. What a weird year. I barely, like, I'm not a note person. I had, like, everything's just in my memory. And this completely has changed for me this year. I just want to touch base on the people that have passed away. So it's funny because I had told my mom back in May, I said, Mom, I don't think Pele will make it to the end of the year. And she goes, oh my, mija, I hope that, que tú te equivocada. I hope that you're wrong, right? I'm like, me too. I hope I'm wrong. I'm not going to say anything on my channel, though, Ma, because this is what I told her. I said, I'm not going to say anything on my channel because I don't want to offend his family. And, Pele was such a famous person that he was always it was always on the news that he died for years and years. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be part of it. So I kept my mouth shut. But I told my mom, she called me up when he passed away. You told me he was not going to make it to the end of the year. You told me. Poor Pele. And his poor mom still alive. All the pain that lady must have. So that's one. About earthquakes, California is always having earthquakes. So I don't like to say that. I will say about California that I had read for several people back when there were a bunch of forest fires 2 years ago, and then this year. I think I've upset some of them that I read for, and I told them that California will be flooded and they might have to be evacuated or moved from where they lived. And they lived in such beautiful places that I think that I worried them. So that's the thing about doing readings, personal readings. I'm going to be very particular about reading. I think I'm going to have to send out a questionnaire and prepare people before I do readings for them. Because I have people tell me straight out, I don't like what you told me. I feel no connection to you. I don't like this reading. You're fine for what you do on your channel, but personal readings, I don't like it. I don't feel any connection to you. Now I wonder how these poor people are feeling now that a lot of places, exactly where I said that there were going to be floods, and for them to be careful not to get into cars whenever to put alarms on their phones. And when they hear that there's a flash flood, to stay away. This is what I told them. So it's that sort of thing. So I don't like to do California earthquakes because everybody does California earthquakes. There's earthquakes in California all the time. But I did do flooding in California when no one was saying there was going to be floods because it was all fires and fires and fires. Now look at it happening. I hope that everyone heeded the advice I gave them from the readings. I told them keep water, keep batteries, keep this and that, and be prepared. And, waterproof all your things. And get insurance if you can. Because that's what this is all about, right? What's the point of reading? It's not to worry people. It's to take preemptive measures, right? But what I do see an earthquake happening is in the Caribbean and in Venezuela. I see an earthquake happening in Venezuela and the Caribbean. In Venezuela, that region, that northern South America, Venezuela, Guyana, Margarita, maybe northern Colombia, some rattling, and in the Caribbean for 2023. Again, let's just do the bad news first. So I see a lot of water again, still more water coming. As long as you're warned, you should be okay. And sorry, I got distracted. I got a text there. So just it's not to worry you. It's just to prepare you. And when I see California, I don't see your block. I don't see your street. I just see the region, like northern or southern. I said all over California. Northern, southern, eastern, and western. So that's what I kind of saw all over California. The other thing, I think in 2023, I think that Ukraine will take back Crimea. And it's also on my second cup, the blue cup that I'm going to do now. And I said it before. Now, hindsight is 2020. But before February 24th of 2022, I did some readings and I saw the war. Even when people were saying, it's hysteria. Russia will never attack Ukraine. I said, yes, there's missiles. They're going to attack Ukraine. There's going to be war. There will be nothing left in certain areas in the Ukraine. Right? And people thought, oh my God. Then after that shock was over and we knew that Russia was in there and they were going crazy. I kept telling people Zelensky's going to be okay because he was persona non grata and he was the one that was going to be, there was a bounty on his head basically. And I said, no, I don't see him dying. He's going to be fine. I don't see him dying. So now, and then in between, I told you I don't see any loss of territory, and Ukraine kept losing territory left and right, and I'm like, no, I don't see them losing but in real life they were losing territory. So I thought to myself, I'm gonna stick to my guns because they're gonna take it back. Sure enough, they started taking it back, and then at some point, I think it was in May or June, I said they're gonna take back Crimea. I see it again in my Taza. They're going to take back Crimea. They're going to take it back. Okay? Weird celebrity stuff. Let me just do this quick one, another prediction. I had a dream with the Sutherlands. When I had a dream with Kobe Bryant and he came to me in between wake and dream, I didn't say Kobe Bryant. I said a basketball player. I didn't say it an athlete. I said it actually an actual basketball player was going to die, and he kept touching his heart. I later found out that he had very severe injuries to his body. He died of trauma, and a lot of them were on his chest as well. So I saw him and then his poor little daughter died. So it was like he was heartbroken because his little baby daughter died. So with celebrities, I get hits like that every once in a while. And everything is to warn you. Don't take risks. If you know it's a cloudy day or a foggy day, don't go for that helicopter ride. Don't go for that car ride. Don't go riding off the cliffs of California or off the cliffs of, wherever you're going, the Alps. Don't do it. Don't freaking do it. Okay? Make sure it's a good day. It's a nice day. You're going with a sane person. not someone trying to prove anything, that sort of thing. So, okay, so now I see with celebrities, I see something happening with the Sutherlands. Donald Sutherland, Kiefer Sutherland. I don't know. I had a dream with the son, Kiefer. And his wife was, I felt like his wife was saying that she was overwhelmed with everything going on. So I hope it's not that his poor papa will pass away. Donald Sutherland. You know, they seem to be like a really nice family that stayed out of the limelight and all the gossips, right? Most of the time. So I hope everything's okay with them. But I did feel something weird with them. And then the biggest hit that I got, and I've been getting for months and months and months and months, is that there's going to be a reckoning for the cults. The abuse with the fundamentalists, with the, FDS, I don't know what they're called, those more fundamentalist Mormons that, marry the 40-year-old man marries a 12-year-old little girl. That there's going to be something going on with them. I think even so, I'm not picking on any person. I'm picking on the leaders. So I'm not picking on the fundamentalist women and children that are Mormons that are in there. They're victims. I'm picking on the leaders that know what they're doing, right? As well as I think the Jehovah's Witnesses. Something crazy is going to be happening with the Jehovah's Witnesses. Something extremely crazy, as well as the Scientologists. There might be some sort of reckoning with them, legal reckoning, tax exempt reckoning, things like that with them. All the cults or cult like uh, religions, there's going to be a reckoning with them. We're going to see a lot of that. I think we're going to get more sophisticated in how to deal with cults and cult mentality. And, we're going to learn a lot, like the James Jones situation, like all those people. We're going to learn a lot. The Moonies that they call them? Whatever. We're going to learn a lot. I think people are going to become more sophisticated, as well as with the MLMs. I think people are going to become extremely sophisticated. This year, beginning this year, is going to be Launchpad. This is Launchpad year against crazy MLMs, crazy mind controls, crazy cults, that sort of thing. That's the vibe that I've been getting. Because, you do a lot of prayers. I do a lot of candle lighting and do a lot of prayers. And you get hits. These are the hits I'm getting. Crazy anti-cult activity. Launch padding against control of innocent people, especially children and vulnerable people. This is going to be the year of the launch padding. I'm not saying this is going to be the year where it all ends, but it's going to be the year where there's going to be laws and lawsuits and learning and things out there that we're going to try to save people and learn about what they went through. Ooh, sorry. It's okay. So this is going to be the year where, all these religions and their practices of abuse, mentally, physically, or economically, it's going to be over. People are going to be done. There's going to be laws passed. There's going to be trials. Their tax exempt status might be in jeopardy. There's going to be a lot of information out there. The general public is going to be educated. And I see a lot of people fleeing out of cults. Just fleeing out of cults, leaving cults in mass exoduses of cults. And a little, people becoming healthier. A lot of people becoming healthier in every which way. So it's going to be a good year for that. It's going to be the launchpad year. It's going to be, the beginning. It's not going to be where everything is healed and done. 12 months is not enough for that. A life of trauma, right? Or a long period of trauma. But it's going to be a launchpad for many, 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 many cults. People that were victims of cults and that were unintended participants in this sort of abuse. So their human rights are going to be brought into question, and how they were violated, and how these cults use the freedom of religion as a weapon to abuse and take advantage of and squeeze out either time, energy, or money out of these victims, basically. It's going to become more like a human trafficking situation. So, this is the year 2023. All right. Welcome back. So, here's the second Zelenskyy cup. Okay. So, look at him. Doesn't that look like his posture? That looks just like his posture. I'm going to put a picture up. That's him, his body. He's dressed in two-tone colors. Not a very tall guy. Bunch of papers all around him. He's always thinking about messages, information, intelligence that's being sent to him. Now, we all know that it's the mud season in Ukraine. Look at all that mud and water, earth and water. I think that's going to be some sort of situation with them. They might employ some tactic to do with the mud. I know they were saying it's easier to move tanks and things like that when the mud is frozen. I'm not sure the mud will freeze everywhere. It's more muddy. They were hoping for ice. I just see mud here. So, they were hoping for winter, for ice, so that they could move things around. But Europe has been having a warmer winter. So all I see is mud, issues with the land. Mud. And here he is. This is him, his little body. He's small stature man. And he's going to visit people in hospital. This is people laying in bed. Now, at the same time that I'm reading the mud, I see people underground here. Like I said in my other cup, there's going to be underground bunker shelters. You see all those people there? It's people underground. You see them? Desks, rooms, people standing, people sitting, moving about. Whole structures underground. When he does come up, he's going to be visiting people that are in hospital. So there might be severe attacks now in Kyiv, more so than we have been seeing on the news. Fucking Putin, man. Fucking Putin. These are all people above ground. This one laying down in hospital. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to be visiting people in the hospital here. And then here I see this cup was just so layered. This is either ships, like some sort of giant military, either ships or tanks or helicopter. I could never tell. Something military. And two people shaking hands. They almost look like women. Women at the forefront here of this military. Now, I don't know if it's tanks, ships, or helicopters, like planes. I don't know, whatever it is, it's going to come to the Ukraine. They're going to shake on it. It's going to be an ally sort of help. Either ships, planes, or tanks. They don't need tanks, right? They got the Russian tanks that they got. So it's either going to be ships or planes. It might be even planes, guys. And more military people here. Whenever I see things like that, that's like military. This is water or air to me, right here. Maybe water, but up here is air. I don't know. I wouldn't even doubt if the Ukrainians were giving now fighter planes to ward off drones or whatever. Like they might be in agreement. Like we'll give you fighter planes, but it's not to attack the Russians, but to take down drones, sort of situation. You see those two women shaking hands there. It's like, okay, we'll give you the planes, but it's only to take down drones. You cannot go into Belarus. You cannot go into Poland. You cannot go outside the airspace. That's what I see there. That's what I see there. Dios mío. I'm so sorry, you guys. As I live in Colorado, and as soon as the sun goes down, it gets cold quickly, and so I got my heater blasting, and I recorded this, but the sound was horrible, and I couldn't edit it properly. I already learned that you can't do anything about that kind of sound, so I'm just redoing it. So this little part here that I wanted to say, here I see people with something to do with aircrafts, but also it could be ships, and this part here like a land as well, and that they're going to be taking back this piece of land that's in the middle of water. Right, this right here, like in the middle of water. It's weird. You see how it's attached just like Crimea. Crimea is like a peninsula, right? It's a peninsula. So it's kind of like that, attached that way. They're going to be taking that back. The Ukrainians are going to take back Crimea. Yeah, so I just wanted to clip that back. I'm so sorry. I don't have it perfect like I did the first time, but you just could not make out the audio, and I'm just redoing it. So yeah. So this is the retaking back of Crimea here. It's an odd piece of land, right? Like an odd piece of land. If you look at Crimea, it kind of looks like that. I might post a little picture of it. More military people, all the military stuff, intelligence working. You know, it's not just about boots on the ground. It's about intelligence, satellite, all that is what I see here. Helping them. And more people meeting their families. Look at that. An adult meeting a more vulnerable person, elderly or children. Getting together with them. Let me go back here a little bit here, because it's layered. So you see at the bottom here, this is a structure that is like a thick structure, like a bomb shelter or something like that. And here I see Zelenskyy. Here's a desk. You see him standing. That's him. It comes out like just like him. Really, straight posture, puffed up chest, confident, willing to take on a challenge. Same situation down here. Desk right in front of him, and all these people around him. So it's just going to be him and all the people in maybe Kiev, wherever he is, underground there. More people here. Then when that happens, all these military people, all these people are going to come out to celebrate. Going to come out to celebrate. The celebration is from here on here. So okay, so one layer up here, second layer here, third layer down here. So you got 1, 2, 3 layers. That's what I see. Dios perdóname, God forgive me, because I don't know. I'm not God. I'm not trying to say that. God is telling me to say this, that. The end of cults, people. We're just friends exchanging knowledge, exchanging ideas. That's all it is. I'm not trying to tell you to do how to live your life, what to believe. I'm just reading my little Taza. As you see, almost everything I read, more than anybody, has come out like religious people. You know how they always saying the end of the world, whatever. I've been more right or the sidekicks, the people here on our community have been more correct than those people. So that speaks for a lot, right? So anyway, so here's what I see. 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layers. Treaties to do with air defense, water defense, intelligence, perhaps satellite defenses, people coming out, greeting their families, greeting their loved ones, hugging together. Messages, intelligences, intelligentsia, right? And then down here, people underground, taking shelter. And then under that is nature. The nature. There's going to be water and mud all over here. This is what this is to me. This is not a person. This is the earth revolting, coming up. That's what that is to me. But anywho, when all that is happening, I think Zelenskyy, he had a job as a comedian. Then he changed his career to become president. Then after he became president, he became, leader of the free world, basically. And then I think his next gig is going to be wedding officiary person. Here's a bride. Waiting for him to come officiate her wedding. Here's another bride. You can see the veil on them. You can see how pretty these women are, right? Really beautiful women. Brides are usually beautiful, mostly. Here's another veil. Look how pretty. Look at that. Look at the dress. One bride number 2 here. So in the Taza, what that means to me, it's not just going to be 2 brides. He's going to have to make a go at it of being a wedding officiary. People are going to want him to officiate their weddings after all this is over. There's going to be celebrations. All this is celebrations down here. In one city, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cities. The biggest 6 cities in the Ukraine. I'm wearing a mood ring. What is blue? But anyway, I'll tell you what blue is. The biggest 6 cities in the Ukraine, he's going to be going there marrying people. They're going to be celebrating. I told you before the war started, before February 24th, that Zelenskyy was going to win. He's going to win. They're going to win. They're going to win. And the only reason I haven't talked about Putin is said because I don't want to put Putin on guard. That demonic cabbage patch motherfucker. I am not going to put him on guard. But if you looked at his last videos, he gave an address, New Year's address, and he coughed and hackled his way through the whole thing. There's something wrong with him, and I told you from a long time, 2 years ago, there's something wrong with him with the right side of his body. Something wrong with the right side of his body. That's all I can say because he already knows that. I'm not going to give him any new info. But that motherfucker, Zelenskyy's going to win, and the people of Ukraine are going to be happy. And guess what? The people of Russia are going to be happy too. I know there's a lot of old folks there that believe the propaganda, just like in the United States. The older folks believe the propaganda, but most people in Russia, they're going to be relieved when this is over. I also feel bad for them and the animals there in Russia. Because nobody's donating to them. Nobody's donating to the Russian kids with leukemia. Nobody's donating or with cancer or to the animals there in Russia. Nobody. Because very few people, maybe there are some, but very few people outside, right? Because of freaking Putin. God has to take him out. God has to take him out. And it's my mood ring, blue. Hold on, let me see what blue is. It says blue is calm and peaceful. I don't know. I mean, I'm confident and at peace. So I guess, yeah. It's usually blue. It's usually blue or violet when I have it on. But in any case, listen, thank you all so much. This year's gonna be a good year. We're gonna learn a lot. It's gonna be a year of learning, a year of strength, a year putting your foot down sort of situation, and a year of confidence. You see this person over here talking and that person over here talking doesn't mean that they know more than you. You have gone through your thing, your experience. You have to bring to the table as well. It has to be an equal participation. It's going to be that sort of year. All right, well, hopes and prayers to Zelenskyy and to the Ukraine. And this is just the beginning, because through the whole month of January, I will be doing readings on 2022 and the people that have passed away and what's coming. This is just the beginning. This is just a taste. There's more things coming, more predictions. So you guys be well. I hope you had a wonderful new year. There's going to be lots of things that we should take up, like taking care of ourselves more, things like that. And we'll be talking about that later on. But anyway, thank you so much for your generosity and for your time and for your kindness. God bless you, and everything that your heart desires and all the good that you've done, may it be returned to you. And, big hugs from us, Cooper and I, and Shakira, and I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.